Welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to cover more stupid excuses to end a marriage. And man, there are a lot of them. Recently, I did a contest. One of my most popular videos is titled The Top 10 Lame Excuses to End a Marriage. You can find that video along with all my other videos on my YouTube channel. Of course, go to my website to find that, Clarke, phd.com, Clarke with an E. So I asked the subscribers to my YouTube channel and to my podcast and subscribers to my website to send in their favorite excuses to end a marriage. We got a huge response. I chose the top 10 and did a video with these excuses and my snappy responses. And of course, you can see that video on my YouTube channel. In this podcast, I'm going to go over the 23 honorable mention excuses that were sent in. We had a lot more than that, but I chose 23 more that I thought were really good. Stupid, of course, but good. And of course, I'll add my responses. It's important to respond assertively to a spouse's stupid excuse to end a marriage. This empowers you and may shake up the divorce-minded spouse. So if your spouse is spouting stupid excuses to end your marriage, and someone that wants out is always going to do that, or you know someone who is in this situation, this podcast is for you. Whatever the marital crisis you're in, I've got a specific, detailed, practical plan of action for you. Now, all my resources, including my books and phone advice service, videos, focus on the family interviews, are on my website, David E. Clarke, Clarke with an E, David E. Clarke, PhD.com. Okay, let's get to these 23 honorable mention excuses to end a marriage. Here's a classic. I hear this a lot in my office and on the phone with clients from across the country. God considers us divorced. My response to this is this, and of course this can be your response. No, he doesn't. You want to know how I know that? Because we're not divorced. God considers you to be a fool and a sinner. That's what he considers. That's the way you can respond to that. Again, just stupidity. You're not divorced. People convince themselves they're divorced. Well, you're not divorced. No judge has said you're divorced. Here's one. You are no fun. Here's the response. Living with you is no fun. Every day can't be like Disney World. Marriage is hard and not always fun. The fun part has to be earned. Number 3. Again, this is, of course, all of these are selfish-based, but here's one that makes it very clear. I never got a chance to be myself. We married too young, and I want to live my life. Oh, I've heard that a million times. Me. Somehow I've missed out on what life's best by marrying you. Here's the response. Let me tell you who you are, a selfish quitter. Be myself means you want to sin, so just admit that. Go ahead and live your life apart from God. You see, you're nailing them on that. It is not okay. They want to sin and they want to do it outside of marriage. Okay, well, just say that. Next one. This is the husband basically telling his wife, you know what? You're not staying physically attractive enough as you age. Oh my goodness, what an insult. Are you kidding? Here's the response. Well, excuse me for not being a supermodel. You are incredibly superficial and insulting. And you're no Mr. Universe yourself. The last guy I had say this in my office was sitting there, and the guy was like 310 pounds, a fatty. And he's talking to his wife that way. Ridiculous. Of course, biblically, as we read the Song of Solomon, you are to consider your wife and your husband the most attractive person on earth. You make yourself believe that. You think about their attractiveness, and that should increase. It gets better as you age. Sandy's more beautiful now, my Sandy, the blonde, than she's ever been. Anyway, and I hope she's listening to this podcast. Anyway, okay, here's the next one. This is blaming God. I prayed to God, straight face, I prayed to God and he told me to divorce you. Oh, whoa. Here's the response. He did not. That's a lie. Believe it if you want, but it's a lie. And it's a lie that's going to cost you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, God would never do that, actually. Unless there was unless he's releasing you from an abusive marriage and there's biblical reason. Without biblical reason, he would never do that. Here's one. I want to be happy before I die. Here's the response. Well, divorce me for this stupid reason, and you're never going to be happy. You think that's the path to happiness? Thumbing your nose at God is not going to get you to happiness. That's the irony of a stupid statement like that. Happiness, which God is certainly in favor of in the Bible, we see happiness covered throughout the Bible, is only achieved through following his principles. And divorcing for non-biblical reasons isn't one of those. Oh, here's a class. You all have heard this one. Classic. Straight face. We were both so young when we got married. Oh, God, really? What a newsflash. Here's the response. We were young, so what? I'd have expected you to gain some maturity over the years. That obviously hasn't happened. You can sting him back with that response, idiot. Oh, here's a nasty one. And again, these are people, they're true believers in their own lives. I want to get closer to God. Here's the response to that. I wonder how you can be closer to God by breaking the covenant of marriage, his covenant of marriage, which is sacred. When does sin ever get you closer to God? Show me that in the Bible. You are far from God now. See, they convince themselves that God's okay with the divorce. He's approving of it, and it will actually improve their relationship with him. Well, of course it won't. You're going to get closer to Satan. You can also tell him that. Here's one. There's nothing else I can do. As if they've killed themselves working on the marriage. What a joke. They probably haven't gone to marriage counseling. Here's the response. I must have missed all the things you tried to save our marriage. Could you give me a list? There's one thing you might consider trying. Have faith in God and follow his principles in the Bible. You probably missed out on that principle. Next one. And at least this is some honesty. I'd rather get a divorce than stop drinking. Okay, well, and you can fill the blank in drinking, watching pornography, gambling at the dog track, whatever he wants to do. But the response to that is, hey, at least you're honest. Stupid, yes, but honest. Keep on drinking by all means. When your liver is dead and all your relationships are dead, I hope you believe drinking was worth it. Again, that's a very edgy, confident, assertive response. Here's a good one. And there are many men that still believe this, even in the 21st century. It's the wife's duty to do all the cleaning, repairs, childcare, the financial issues, so stop with your nagging me. In fact, you've nagged me so much, I'm divorcing you. Again, that's not even biblical. Here's your response to that dumb excuse. Who taught you that the wife is supposed to do all the jobs in the home? It wasn't the Bible. These jobs are to be fairly shared. And as the servant leader, buddy, you are actually more responsible for these jobs. And you can add, oh, don't worry about nagging. I'll never ask you to do one more thing for me except leave. There's the door. Here's one. And again, this is again a big fat lie, and I have never seen this work out, but they believe it. I'm sure I could be happier with someone else. Again, happiness is the key, but it's going to be now with someone else. At least they're admitting that. And the response here could be, initially, you will be happier, no question. Sin is fun for a while. The Bible says sin is fun for a season. But then it will all come crashing down on you. You will not be happy. You'll be miserable. God will never bless you and someone else. And that's the truth. You get divorced for non-biblical reasons. And if you're involved in an adulterous affair with someone else during the marriage, God's never going to bless that marriage. Period. Outside of his nature to do so. Here's one that is used a lot, and it's the stupidest thing in the world, just about. We don't have any of the same interests, the person will say. We don't have any of the same interests, hobbies, TV watching. Okay, here's the response. Have you ever heard the saying, opposites attract? If we had all the same interests, we'd be bored to death. Plus, I'm sure we could find things to do together. They're saying that. That's not the reason. That's ridiculous. In a healthy marriage, by the way, you do separate things. Sandy loves her crafting. I don't sit down with her in her craft room and make crafts. I hate crafts. I leave making them. I love when she does it and she puts it up in our home. I play golf. Sandy hates golf. She doesn't watch golf on TV. She doesn't play golf. I do that. So there's separate things you do. Now there's things that you do together too. And certainly you could find those things. This guy doesn't care about that, or this woman. Here's a good one. Oh, yeah, and our secular society loves this kind of thing and applauds. Everybody is doing it. I'm divorcing you. You know what? No big deal. Everybody's getting divorced. Here's the response. Really? You're going to go with that reason? That excuse? Number one, everybody is not doing it. There are plenty of spouses who are fighting for their marriages and remain committed to the sacred covenant. You're not one of them, of course, but there are plenty. Number two, sin is sin, no matter how many people are doing it. God is not involved in a democracy. It's a theocracy. When he says something is true and right, it is, and you're to follow it. And if you don't, you'll pay the price. He only has his rules and commandments because they're good for us. Next one, you don't trust me and I can't commit to you. Yeah. Here's the response. Of course I don't trust you. You know why. It's because of your sin, your behavior, your mistreatment of me. You can't commit to me, but you can commit to your sin. That's how I respond to that one. Next, here's a classic. And again, said with a straight face. The wife, this is the husband talking to the wife. You wear too much makeup. I don't like your lash extensions. I don't like the wigs and perfume you use. Well, this is a reason for divorce? The response here is, it's good that I'm attractive. Would you rather I shave my head, wear no makeup, and never take a shower? Well, that's ridiculous. Come on. Again, any excuse will do when you want to get out of a marriage for bogus reasons. Here's a good one. I've heard this often in my office and over the phone in my phone advice sessions. Not enough sex. I'm divorcing you because you don't give me enough sex. Obviously said mostly by the man. The response is, funny. Hearing that makes me never want to have sex with you again. And the bottom line here is, and I try to tell these guys, they're not listening most of the time, during the headlights look, but you know what? The reason your wife isn't engaging in sex with you as much as you'd like is because you're a jerk. You're abusing her. You're not meeting her needs. That's exactly what happens. If you can tell me over the course of 3 or 4 months you change, you spiritually bond with her, you meet her needs, you're the best husband you can be, and she still blocks on sex, okay, then she's got a problem. But since you haven't tried that, shut up. They usually leave my office at that point and really don't know why. Next excuse, because marriage is inconvenient. Wow. The response is this: living with a blockhead like you is inconvenient for me. Next one. This is the I need space. I need some time apart. So here they will say, I think we need to spend some time apart. And this, of course, will morph into divorce. The response here could be, I thought we got married so we could be together. Where do you want to go? A mountain in Tibet? You want time apart? Fine, leave now. Whenever your spouse wants space, the immediate response should be, there's the door, go ahead and get your space. They just want to go out and sin, but you can't stop it anyway. Do not beg them to stay. That makes you look bad and pitiful, and they'll leave anyway. I like this one. We are not compatible. Wow. Here's the response to that. Really? When did this dawn on you, genius? Of course we're not compatible. No couple is compatible. I've told many couples, Sandy and I, married 38 years now, we're not compatible. She's a woman, I'm a man. That's to start with, that's a real problem. She has a different family background, so do I. Different personality, so do I. Different set of needs, different everything. With God's help, you work to you make the incompatible compatible. But that takes a lifetime. That's part of the fun. Here's one, just kind of very basic in your face. I don't want to be married anymore. Well, yeah. Here's the response to that. Hey, that's great. That's great news. Because I don't want to be married anymore to a quitter who doesn't want to be married anymore. That's what you should put. You put it right back in his face. The assertive response is very important. Not begging or pleading. That never works. You stick it right back in his face and see if he likes it and give him a taste of divorce. And again, in many of these situations, I want to recommend, if you haven't heard of my book, one of my latest books, My Spouse Wants Out. How to Get Angry, Fight Back, and Save Your Marriage. That's the book for you. If you got a spouse who wants out for a bogus reason, and these are all bogus, anything other than a solid biblical reason is completely bogus, that's the book for you. It'll give you a fighting chance to save your marriage, and it will also empower you if you have to go on alone if they end up divorcing you. Okay, a couple more to go here. We'll be done. Here's a good one. The husband says, you're not organized enough to plan a vacation for us. And he added, you don't have the adventurous spirit I want in a mate. So I guess you have to be organized and adventurous. That can be your response. I have to be organized and adventurous. What else do you want? You can also say, I also burn the toast occasionally. Good luck finding a perfect person. Oh, come on. Again, you married the person probably knowing they weren't that adventurous, but there's changes that can be made along the way. Come on. Of course, in all of these excuses, never is a person saying that it admit any fault, things that they've done wrong in the marriage. That would really help. Okay, last one here. Maybe I'm not supposed to be married. I'm just not good at it. Yeah, well, that's the truth. Here's the response there. You aren't good at it. You should have thought of this before you got married. You could choose to get better at it. Obviously, you're not going to do that. Okay, so those are the 23 honorable mention lame excuses to end a marriage that I've chosen from the really many responses we got. We're going to do more contests down the road, part of the I Don't Want a Divorce podcast, and even my YouTube channel. I may do some video work on that too, but thank you so much for your participation. And I'm hopeful that these hearing these excuses and the responses were helpful, because these dimwits tend to say the same dumb excuses over and over and over again. And there are responses that will help empower you and maybe just save a marriage. Once again, go to the website, davideclarkephd.com. Clarke with an E, to find all my resources. And you know what? If you're enjoying these podcasts, and I hope you are, and you're finding them helpful, help us spread the word. You can tap the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. That would be very helpful. We expand our audience. We save more marriage with God's power. And would you leave us a review, 5-star review? That will help us to gain more of an audience. We are getting some traction. God is blessing us, and marriages are being saved. And people are being powered, even if they have to go on alone. So until next time, Dr. David E. Clarke, PhD, out.